notice, and this is the typical copyright. We continue with mathematics syllabus for CSEC 2018 to 2027, 2018 to 2027, schedule of videos, section 1, number theory and computation. All 33 videos from that section have been published on YouTube as of 14th of October 2024. 12 more videos to do on consumer arithmetic. Hopefully that will all be published either in part or totally by 31st of October 2024, and then November 2024 sets, December 2024 measurement, January 2025 statistics, February 2025 algebra, March 2025 relations, functions, and graphs, April 2025 geometry and trigonometry, and by May 2025, mid-May, vectors and matrices. As I have already pointed out, I have divided section 1 into 33 videos. Those are the 33 videos here. The 33 videos coming down here. They have all been published in their entirety on YouTube. Reminder again that this section, section 1, that is, forms the foundation on which the rest of the syllabus is based. So please look at these 33 videos and make sure that you know them well. Also, another reminder that you need to know the times tables, as an electronic calculator is not allowed in paper 1. So we are on section 2 now. We already covered objective 1 and objective 2. We are now at objective 3. There is an objective 4, 5, 6, and 7, and also 8, 9, and 10, but that would be all the objectives in this section. So end of section 2, video 12, consumer arithmetic. We are here on the third objective, third video. Please keep in mind that not all of these videos from section 2 and onward will be available on YouTube. Not all will be available on YouTube in their entirety. Some of these that you see over here, will be available in their entirety. Others will not, only partially. And you will be redirected to another site where a reasonable fee is charged, a monthly reasonable fee. So as I said, we completed objective 1, we completed objective 2, and now we are here at objective 3, which says express a profit, loss, discount, markup, and purchase tax as a percentage of some value. First, we will begin with profit and loss. We looked at a number of these in the last video. So all these work basically in the same way, which is percent profit or loss would be the actual profit or loss over the cost price multiplied by 100%. For example, if the cost price of a book is $20 and the selling price of the same book is $30, what was the percentage profit? Well, percentage profit will be the actual profit over the cost price multiplied by 100%, which means that if the book was bought for $20 and sold for $30, then there was a $10 profit, which is that, divided by $20, which is the cost price, multiplied by 100%, and that would give us 50%. Now keep in mind that when you calculate profit, loss, or markup, we use the cost price as the denominator here. But when we deal with discount and purchase tax, we will use the selling price as the denominator. So now, let's consider profit, loss, and markup first. As I said, we did a number of these in the last video. If you look at the last video, this should be very easy now. So percentage profit or loss is the profit or loss over the cost price multiplied by 100%. If the cost price of a table was $120 and the selling price of the same table was $170, what was the percentage profit? So is the actual profit, which is $50, over the cost price multiplied by 100%, and you get 42%. Next example, example 2. If the cost price of a pot was $60 and the selling price of the same pot was $110, what was the percentage profit? So percentage profit is equal to profit over cost price multiplied by 100%. The actual profit is $50 from 60 to 110 over $60 multiplied by 100%, and that gives us 83%. Example 3, if the cost price of an electric drill was $80 and the selling price of the same drill was $55, what was the percentage loss? So it would be the actual loss over the cost price multiplied by 100%, which would be 80 minus 55 would give us $25 lost over $80 cost price multiplied by 100%, and that gives us 31% loss. Example 4, if the cost price of a fan was $50 and the selling price of the same fan was $35, what was the percentage loss? Round off your answer to the nearest whole number. So percentage loss would be the actual loss over the cost price multiplied by 100%. And so the actual loss is $15 over, now the cost price, which is $50, multiplied by 100%, and that gives us 30%. If you find this video useful and interesting, please like and share. That is to say, like and share. You may also consider subscribing to this channel. Subscribe. After all, it doesn't cost you anything, and it means a lot to me. So now let's go to markup. We are finished with profit and loss. We did a lot of examples for that in the last video as well. Now we want to deal with markup. Now what is markup? Well, to calculate markup, you will deal with the gross profit over the cost price. And now this is a new term. You haven't seen that before in this video or the previous video, multiplied by 100%. So let us say that you buy a dress for $250, and in order to sell it, you have certain overhead costs like display and advertisement and labor costs, electricity, and so on. Now let us say that that is $60. So at this point, that $250 plus this $60 gives us $310, and you don't have any profit in that yet. That is what it costs, the cost price plus the overhead. Now the markup is the sum of the overhead, in this case $60, plus the net profit, let us say $70. So the selling price is the cost price plus the overhead plus the net profit. And if we were to add those, we will get $380, which includes $70 net profit. Now, that means that the selling price minus the cost price is equal to the gross profit. And the gross profit is actually made up of the overhead plus the net profit. In those examples that we did previously, when we were dealing with profit, we were actually dealing with gross profit, which includes some net profit. So now we know what markup is. It's the gross profit, which is the same numbers we were using in the previous examples over the cost price multiplied by 100. But notice we are not finding percent markup. We are finding markup, which is expressed as a percentage, or it may sometimes be expressed as a fraction, but this objective does not ask about the fraction. It just asks about the percentage. So markup, if you have something with a cost price of $250, an overhead of $60, and a net profit of $70, then the markup is the overhead plus the net profit. And if you add that to the cost price, you now have the selling price. So selling price is the cost price plus the overhead plus the net profit, which is equal to $380 in this case. So the item we considered as profit all along the line, selling price minus cost price, is this minus that, $130. That $130 actually included overhead and some net profit. So this here is called the gross profit. Gross profit. So the cost price plus the gross profit is equal to the selling price. Now, when the gross profit is shown as a fraction or as a percentage of the cost price, it is known as markup. And it may be expressed as a percentage or a fraction. Now, if the gross profit is shown as a fraction or percentage of the selling price, that is known as the margin. But this objective does not ask anything about margin. So we will just skip that for this objective. Of course, if you are doing principles of business, you will meet this term, margin. So now, let's revisit this question, question 2 that we did before. If the cost price of a pot is $60 and the selling price $110, what was the percentage profit? That was the question. And we did this. Now, you see this 50 that we put here? That is actually the gross profit. This is not the money that the businessman actually earned, because he had to spend some money for overhead in that $50. And then we came up with 83% profit. But that is not net profit. That is gross profit. If we express it like this, it is actually called the markup. So markup may be expressed as a percentage or as a fraction. So now let's look at some examples here. Example 5. If the cost price of a fan was $70 and its selling price $105, what was the markup? Round off your answer to the nearest whole number. So the markup would be the gross profit, which is what previously we were just calling profit, over the cost price multiplied by 100%. You work that out. $35 gross profit over $70 multiplied by 100, and that would give us 50% markup. But remember that 50% is not all net profit. It is the gross profit which includes the overhead. Example 6, the cost price of a dress was $250 and the selling price $385. What was the markup? So markup is the gross profit, which, as I said previously, we were just calling profit, over the cost price multiplied by 100, and that would be $135 more than what was paid for it. 250, which gives us 54%, which includes net profit and overhead. So now let's consider discount and purchase tax. Again, we did a number of examples of these in the previous video. So we use cost price to calculate profit, loss, and markup as the denominator. Now we will use selling price for discount and purchase tax as the denominator for these fractions. So percent discount or purchase tax will be the discount or the purchase tax, the actual discount or purchase tax, over selling price. Previously, we were using cost price for those. And we multiply that by 100%. So let's consider example 7. The selling price of a dress was $250. At checkout, you got a discount of $25. What was the percentage discount? Round off your answer to the nearest whole number. So it would be the actual discount over the selling price multiplied by 100. Well, you got $25 discount over $250 multiplied by 100, and so you get 10% discount. Next, the selling price of a stove was listed as $1,250. You got a discount and actually paid $1,075. What was the percentage discount? Round off your answer to the nearest whole number. So the percentage discount would be the actual discount over the selling price multiplied by 100. And the actual discount here would be $1,250 minus $1,075, which gives us $175. That's your actual discount over the selling price, which is $1,250. Multiply that by 100 and you get 14%. Now let's consider purchase tax, which is sometimes called VAT in most countries. Again, go back and look at the last video to understand a little more of what VAT is. So the percentage VAT will be the actual VAT over the selling price multiplied by 100%. So example 9. The VAT excluded price on a stove was listed as $900. So without VAT, it's $900. Now that $900, of course, included the overhead and the net profit. But in addition to that, you have to pay VAT, which is an added tax that is charged on behalf of the government. The store does not keep that. That has to be paid to the government. Okay. After VAT was included, you paid $1,050. What was the percentage of VAT? Round off your answer to the nearest whole number. So percentage VAT would be the actual VAT over the selling price multiplied by 100%. Now, this selling price is the selling price that the store puts on it without adding VAT. So percentage VAT would be 150 over 900 multiplied by 100%, and that gives us 17% VAT. Value added tax. Example 10, I think this is the last example. the VAT excluded price on a men's suit was listed as $550. VAT was found to be $65. What was the percentage VAT? Round off your answer to the nearest whole number. So VAT over the selling price multiplied by 100%. VAT, we already know what the VAT is, $65 over the $550 multiplied by 100%, and that gives us 12% VAT was added. So we just looked at objective 2.3, express profit, loss, discount, markup, and purchase tax as a percentage of some value. That is this objective here. Completed that. And that brings us to the end of this video, which is video 3 from this section based on objective 3 in section 2.